Chart, October 8th, 1987. First house, Moon Aquarius. So that means your moon, which is your emotional body, which is in Aquarius, which is a masculine energy, happens to be in your first house. That means your emotions are on your sleeve. This is what you express. But the crazy part about it is because it's Aquarius. So if you think Aquarius, you think Bob Marley. You think I can't think of other Aquariuses on the top of my head, but revolutionaries is basically the aspect that comes with that emotional moon and whatnot. So that means you're emotionally rebellious. You know what I'm saying? So you don't play with emotions. You just can't do it. It's not that you're a horrible person or anything of that nature. Definitely not saying that. It's just, it's rough to get into those emotions because you're about other people and you feel that emotion a lot more. And the fact that you feel it in opposed to the person that you're feeling it from. Okay? So that means you absorb emotions. It's Aquarius is an air sign. Yes, you hear aqua, but it's not a water sign at all. It's an air sign. So with it being in the air and the place that it is actually called I know. So that means you're highly intuitive. So your intuition speaks to you towards every person. They always say that Aquariuses are like the aliens of the planet. It is because they're just most likely not from this planet. Just to be real. Because their main ruling planets are kind of more the further ones out. They're not personal planets. They're like the 8, 9, 10, 11s, you know? So because they're so outer and Aquarius is ran by Uranus, so that deals with spontaneous change, that means you can go through a bipolar episode in like a matter of seconds. If something, because it's such a fixed energy, so you like your emotions to be fixed in one way, if it's that type of thing, then anything changing how you feel emotionally can send you off as a trigger immediately. And it's cupped with Capricorn. So your first house is cusping with your 12th, which means you share two energies within two houses, which the 12th being your more spiritual, higher, kind of delusional, addictional side, cusping with your personality. So if you're not a drinker, smoker, or anything of that nature, then whatever else you do is more of an addiction. So even if you don't do nothing and just focus on your emotions, then that is an addiction. You can go too far with it or you can go too left with it. It all just depends on how you want to deal with it. But every emotion that you feel, 9 times out of 10 is not 100% yours because you're absorbing it from someone else. The Capricorn first house, so that's the cusp. So when you have like a first house of Capricorn energy, you want to find the ruler of that house, which is Saturn, and that is in your chart Sagittarius retrograde. So Sagittarius is the 9th house. That deals with religion, that deals with beliefs, that deals with travel, that deals with foreign intelligence. That's probably the wrong word for it, but that's just what came to mind. So nonetheless, well, shit, I do this, I'm a Sagittarius, this is foreign intelligence, this is something that you don't learn in school. So foreign intelligence, this type of thing. That's why I said it. But anyway, you have Saturn in Sag and Uranus in Sag. So the cusp that you have, which is ran by both Saturn for Capricorn and Aquarius, and then Uranus for Aquarius. Now, Uranus is the planet of change, chaos, technology, community, things of that range in nature. This is why it's hard for you to get emotional with people, because of the simple fact that like you feel the emotion of the people and you wear it on your shoulder like it's a weight. You know what I'm saying? So even if it's not your emotion, this could be a person, a coworker, family member, blah 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 blah. Like this is the weight that you carry, and it's a fixed emotion. I hope I didn't lose you by now. Now these planets are in retrograde. Now when Uranus is moving forward, is chaos. That means when it goes backwards, it's reviewing the chaos that it may have occurred. That may have occurred. So that means, with it being in your 10th house that deals with business. Yeah, it's the cusp of the 10th. So that deals with business. 10th house is projection. So, like, you think about your actions before you make them. So that's the blessing of having your sign in retrograde. So you're probably a cool, calm, collective person, to be honest with you. And discipline, because Saturn deals with discipline, especially in Sagittarius. But that also makes you a higher being. So sometimes you can feel like your authority is over an authority figure. You can be the boss of shit. Okay? You have a stellium in Leo in the 8th house. Now, the 8th house, that's Scorpio naturally, but you have a Leo Virgo cusp in the midst of that. So that would mean that the 8th house is shared by two energies. So the main one that is actually shared is in Leo before it even touches Virgo, which your sun is at basically the tip line. I wish I could show you. I'm sorry. Once I get my computer set up, I can show you what I'm talking about. But within the 8th house that deals with secrets, the sun is just bordering that line. So that means rather you have secrets or somebody around you has secrets, it's hard for them to keep it around you. Because that's Scorpio. That's naturally dealing with partnership, other people's money, behind closed doors. Like, mainly most water signs are all dealing with behind closed doors. But in this case, because you have both an earth and a fire energy there, that means like your dirt is practical and it has to be viewed by the public, like, or at least by your partner. So it's hard for you to keep secrets. You lash out a lot, and that makes sense because you have that moon in your first house, which means you wear your emotions on your sleeve. So it's hard for you to not show a motherfucker that you ain't playing. You know what I'm saying? Like it just comes out. Even if you don't say anything, they can see through your expression that that's what it is that you are expressing. Is that, nigga, I'm about to fuck you up. Like, that's just what it is. Like kind of like them rough hood niggas, bitches and shit. Like, that's like, man, don't go fuck with them. That's what I'm talking about. Like that kind of energy, that's what you project. And because it's air, it's in the air. Like people can feel that vibe. I don't care what sign it is. And, for some sign, it could be a positive thing. That's why they come up to you and talk to you and try to holler at you on the side. Even though you ain't trying to fuck with nobody, that's just the energy that you're projecting. So that's why it doesn't matter, male or female, come up to you and then, try to conversate because they're feeding off that energy. If it's negative, the people are going to stay away. For the people that actually want that energy and soaking for it, they coming straight towards you because you just project it. It just comes out of there. And it comes with a disciplinary mindset. So, like, even that person knows that, granted, they can get this energy from you, but, like, you don't come with, like, an easy card. Like, things, niggas got to jump through hoops before they even get the first letter of your first name. Okay? So, let's see. So that's the stellium in the 8th house. The stellium that you have is Mars, your sun, Venus, and Mercury. All within that. And it's wild because, like, I have a stellium in my 3rd house also. So that means you get a lot of fiery energy. And Leos, what they do, that's the sun. naturally. So that's personally in the earth. So you're always seen. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't matter what you do, it's always seen. Especially with your Mars there, which is in a fire sign, which runs a fire sign. So it's like pretty much heightened there. So your ambitions, your actions, everything is drilled towards upon yourself. Fifth house is Leo, and that deals with children, your children personally, because every house from the first to the seventh is your personal houses, and then from the 8th to the 12th is more of how you deal with everybody else. You dig? So the energy of, okay, so Leo's still in your 8th house. Okay, that's Scorpio. It's still a fixed energy. So for what you try to keep secret, you just let it out. It just happens. It also deals with your value because Venus is there, and your mindset because Mercury is there. So your value and the way you make money and whatnot, that is like how you pretty much come up. It's delved on partnership, codependency, and that is something you can break. Don't get me wrong, but it's a part of your personality. So it's a rough thing to break, and you have to be practical because again, you're cusping energy. So like you're constantly critically thinking upon your emotional state at that moment in time, especially because it's in fire. So you could be amped up about something, but you have to sit back and like think about like why you so amped up for. And I'm sure you got friends around you that are like, girl or boy or whatever, like, you know, why you this way? And then you gotta tell them like, I don't know, because you literally don't. And that is what like that 8th house exposed. Okay. Let's see. Jupiter and Aries in the 4th. So 4th house is again a water house. The 4th, 8th, that's where you have your most energy. So in partnerships and home. So whomever you're with, which 7th house is Cancer for you. So no matter what, like 7th house is relationships, business ships, like just ships in general. So any style of relationships, balancing of relationships, manipulation of relationships, all that falls in the 7th house. And with a water sign there, naturally it being the earth sign, which is funny because this is reading basically Offset's chart. Like that's where your significant other is aligned with, is within that chart, which is crazy because yours is water and his is air. I don't know if that's this is not set up or anything. I'm just saying, like, I've read his chart and he said anyway. But so the fact that it deals with relationships in that in general, and the fact that it's Cancer, that means like Cancer deals with home. It deals with what makes you feel comfortable. So even your partnerships have to be in a comfortable, balancing state. And it's kind of hard with air and water because it's hard to breathe underwater, and you know there's always air above it. So granted, you can come to a certain style of peace of where both harmonious themes can come into place, but emotionally and intuitively, that's what runs your relationships. So, and that's the balance of both, and it's kind of a rough thing when you have a fire sign mind with a opposing moon, because Leo opposes Aquarius, which they're basically the same sign, because one deals with your children, which is the 5th house, Leo, and then the 11th house deals with other people's children, which is Aquarius, which is, you know, your Bob Marley, your freedom fighters and stuff. Okay, dealing with other people's children. So that's where that aspect comes into play. So in that sense, that means as a leader, you can be one strongly, you know, like, because there's a lot of masculine energy in there, because Leo is a masculine sign, Aquarius is a masculine sign, and your first house is both masculine and feminine. So yeah, like so, there's a lot of power control that happens within you. So, that's kind of just something to dabble with, especially because like you have a lot of cardinal energy, so you like to move forward with what a lot of your emotion is, and especially fixed energy, which means that it's, in lack of better terms, it's more of a stubborn way to think of certain situations. Like certain things have to be the way that they are. If you're religious, you're high power religious. That's it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts, or no. That's just how you think. Emotionally, that's how you feel. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no gray area. This is just one strict way. It's a fixed way. Okay? North Node in Capricorn, South Node in Cancer. So your past life definitely dove in relationships. Rather, relationships within the problems of your home, relationship and the problems of yourself, because the home is the body, or the body is the home of the soul. Relationships within family members, because you have a seventh house, so that deals with everybody else around, how you interact with everybody else. So that would be your seventh house. So, let me see. So past life wise, there's always that intuitive nature that you have with the partner that you pick. Specifically, what they may have while they're presenting it. So intuitively, up front, what you see, to most people, it won't be like, man, that person ain't, what you doing with them? But to you, you look past that and you're looking into like the actual soul of the person. That's how you dive onto relationships. And it's a good and bad thing. You could read wrong and wind up with a fucked up person. And that doesn't have to be like, just relationship wise. Again, this could be like friends, family, so forth. Like, hell, even the fucking donut that you choose could be in the midst of that. It look good on the outside, and then you go and buy it, and okay. So that's what I mean. So that's just like the past life scenarios. That's the past life thing that you got to shed. North Node is Capricorn, so you're about business. So that means you got to be around business-oriented people, and you're always going to be fluttered to that business-oriented person. And because Capricorn is naturally the 10th house is broadcasting, 4th house, Cancer, which is your relationship spectrum, which would deal with family and home anyway, that's how you broadcast yourself. It's through family. And move it forward in that sense. I'm hoping I'm making sense to you. I hope I didn't lose you in the midst of this. So, but that's your astrology reading. I'll get you your card reading here in a second. Sorry, I kind of go a little bit more ham when I'm a little bit more open with stuff. So, but you have a really good chart. And your expansion, which is Jupiter and Aries in the 4th, that means your expansion is your comfortability, your home. What you see as home is your comfortability. And you expand in that. So that could be like, once you get in the place, you start building on it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Here's a picture frame here. Here's a potted plant here. Here's the garden here. Like, you make that bitch your home, And if it's not a house, then it's within yourself. So you make yourself home. You don't have to wait or do anything on anybody, because you can do it yourself at home. So, let's see. Those were the important parts in that chart of yours. There's not too many challenges and squares outside of the opposing energy that you already have, which is your sun in Leo and your moon in Aquarius, which means, you're constantly going to war between your head and your soul. And sometimes your soul can feed your head. because it's fire. So it's already like, oh, what? I'm already out in the open. So I'm about to wild out. You know what I'm saying? So this is part one. I'll get you the other one here in a second.